This is one of the most important videos I did, so I suggest you really watch it or at least listen to it while you're doing something else. And keep in mind the information I'm going to share. Professional injuries among piano players are very common. Most advanced players I know had them at some point, but many don't reveal these things publicly, of course. And many players get away with mild injuries, but for many others, it's a career-ending disaster. The reason is that safety, efficiency and sustainability of piano technique is often neglected. And many pianists have what I call the short-term technique, which works great for a few years, but is more likely to lead to injury long-term. That's why after 15 years of playing piano seriously, me personally, even performing some of the hardest pieces out there with an orchestra, I still ended up with major hand overuse issues. I managed to recover and get back on stage and actually became a better teacher because of this experience. But honestly, I wish someone had told me all this stuff before. It would save me a lot of time and a lot of pain. So if you ever experience pain, fatigue or numbness in your arms, here are a few really important things to keep in mind. The first, pain or numbness, big red flag. That's your body saying something's wrong. Playing the piano should never hurt, ever. And beware of anyone who says the opposite. If you feel pain, stop. Don't push through it. Take a break. If pain is serious, consider canceling that upcoming concert and go see a doctor. And I know how difficult it is to cancel an important competition or performance, especially after investing so much time in preparations. I remember myself when I had the Geza Ande competition coming up, and it's one of the hardest competitions over there. You have to prepare 3 hours of repertoire from their very narrow list of pieces, so most of the stuff you have to learn specifically for this competition. And you don't know what you're gonna play. They say it right before the performance to increase the challenge. So I was in terrible pain already by that point, but I pushed through it because for me it was unthinkable. How could I give up on this competition after several months of preparation? So I somehow managed to play 2 decent rounds despite barely feeling my fingers, and I even did pretty well considering my condition. But it wasn't my best, obviously, and in the end, all that effort was in vain because I didn't get to the finals anyway. I should have stopped. Because I pushed through pain, instead of canceling that competition, I couldn't play piano seriously for a year afterwards, and it was the darkest time in my life. This is exactly how long-term injuries happen, by ignoring pain and pushing through it. Understand the root of your pain. Pain often doesn't come just from one intense session. It's usually a sign that you've been misusing your body for quite a while, usually through inefficient playing habits. And once your body gets used to that kind of strain, it develops a kind of pain memory. Every time you go back to the same way of playing, the body reacts with pain again. That's why simply resting isn't enough for many people, even if you take a 1-month break where you don't play piano at all. But when you return to the same technique, pain comes right back. The real solution is to reassess your technique from scratch, identify the habits that are causing unnecessary tension, and build new, healthier ways of moving. And important spoiler, very often tension arises as a compensatory reaction. It means that if your hand position is not good, or if your fingers are underdeveloped, you may accumulate a lot of tension elsewhere in your body. However, my issue was of a different kind. I had extremely strong fingers and a good hand position overall. I have also a very robust body which heals very fast and low in inflammation. That's why I could get away with not a very efficient playing for so long. But what I did wrong is I pushed the keys too hard and I didn't release the tension after the strike properly, accumulating way more static tension than necessary. But the reality of the piano world is such that although I studied with a half dozen of great teachers, great musicians, and took master classes with dozens of other prominent pianists, no one has ever noticed what I myself see so clearly in my older recordings now. with my today's experience. And no one has ever warned me that I used what I now call a short-term technique. And relearning takes time. You'd better find someone who can help you with this. Luckily, there are some teachers who specialize on the physiology of piano playing. For example, a Taubman approach is really great in this regard, and there are many Taubman certified specialists who can help you with this. And there are many other teachers with many other approaches if for some reason you don't find that Taubman approach is best for you. Unfortunately, guys, I cannot take new students in this year because I have 120% load at the university this year. So I'm very sorry that I cannot take private students this year, but there are teachers who specialize in these topics, so please keep looking. If you stay patient and consistent, your body starts to learn that, hey, this is different now, it feels different, this is safe, I should not react with pain. But this process of relearning takes time. And this is where true recovery begins, not just healing physically, but transformation. Because what changes in our body changes our mind as well, and vice versa. I can tell you from my experience that my mindset, my values have changed dramatically while I was finding my way to recovery. And I believe I became so much more mature person while recovering from this horrible and very depressive experience, which I luckily overcame, of course, also thanks to the help and support of others. And a short reminder, although I cannot take new students this year, but I have a huge technique optimization course where I will help you rebuild your piano playing habits from scratch. And it's suitable for both late beginners and advanced pianists, because we have sections dedicated to basic techniques and also to very sophisticated techniques and advanced pieces suitable for professional pianists. So check it out following the link in the description. The next point is find the right physical therapist, because not all physical therapists understand musicians, their injuries, and bother to work well, in my experience. Look for someone who works with musicians or athletes. I was lucky to visit such a physical therapist once, and the first thing she asked me to do was to play her grand piano, which she had in her lab. She was so serious about helping pianists that she acquired a grand piano in her lab. And she actually gave me a couple of great tips on technique and efficiency despite not being a pianist. So luckily nowadays there are some specialized clinics for music-related injuries. And of course, don't wait to get help, because some issues like muscle spasms, for example, they can bother you for weeks, but can improve quickly if you catch them early. Then, of course, warm up and stretch before playing piano, and don't play intensive stuff with cold hands. I know quite a few stories where people ran into overuse issues and serious injuries when attempting to perform very demanding pieces by coming from a cold environment and without a proper warming up. So even if you don't have a green room with a piano to warm up before stage, at least soak your arms in warm, not hot, but warm water for a minute before starting to play. This helps tremendously. And of course, do light stretching before and after practice. It really helps. Just don't overdo this. Then of course, when you start practicing, don't jump straight into fast scales or difficult passages. Start your practice with something comfortable. Athletes don't begin workouts with sprints, and only ignorant pianists, like myself 15 years ago, start by hammering out difficult sections or playing fast scales at full speed right from the start. Starting your practicing with fast scales is incredibly harmful in the long run. Take breaks, mix things up, avoid repeating the same motion for too long. So when you practice, always change the strategy, how you practice a spot. Take regular breaks and don't let yourself fall into autopilot. Trying different memory types. So after practicing a few bars, stop, close your eyes, and imagine yourself playing it by activating your inner ear and visual memory, but not playing it physically. So your hands will recover and you will train other memory types, which is crucial for your confidence. Then massage can help in certain situations. During my recovery, I had 5 days of daily, very intensive massage sessions with an excellent specialist, and the improvements were huge. But of course, as always, check with your doctor before beginning any treatment. And be patient, please. Don't rush back into stressful performances. This is a long game, unfortunately, and you have to really have a lot of patience. In my experience, it takes about 6 to 12 months to recover and to form new habits deep enough that they stay with you even under stress. If you jump back in too soon into stressful performances, you risk reverting to old habits and all the progress gets undone. And of course, practice with care. If you are recovering from an injury, treat your practice exclusively like physiotherapy, as a form of self-massage, nothing more. So forget about perfection for now. Focus on comfortable sensations, support at the bottom of the key, and ease of movement. And here is the trickiest but most essential part. Stop practicing as soon as you start feeling better. Here's why. When you begin to practice being injured, your arms might feel a little bit numb, a little bit fatigued. It will not be very comfortable, not very pleasant. But after 20 to 30 minutes of careful, mindful practice, the blood flows better, the fatigue fades, and suddenly it feels great. And you're like, wow, I'm back in shape now. Now I can play whatever. And that's exactly when most of us want to keep going. But you must stop there. Because if you continue to play beyond that point, the pain and fatigue will return quickly. And when you feel it again, it's already too late. You've overdone it and set your progress back. Then, of course, watch your daily activities. Things like housework, excessive phone use, typing, or too much computer time can stress the same muscles you use for piano. That's why use voice dictation whenever possible, and tools like a vertical mouse, for example, to ease strain. I find this device very useful actually. When I video edit for hours or play GTA or whatever, this is a great thing to reduce fatigue from using a computer mouse. And then of course, one thing that many people forget is that your diet actually matters. And a diet high in inflammation, especially a lot of ultra-processed food or a lot of sugar, or some people also claim that a lot of animal products can cause inflammation. All this can make healing harder. So there's also... I'm sorry guys, I know this is going to be a very painful point for many of you, and I'm really sorry, but I feel that I must tell this. Sorry about that. There is also some evidence that alcohol, yes, even in moderate amounts, can worsen arm pain for some people due to vitamin B12 depletion. So I'm sorry, I had to do this. So it's worth considering your nutrition as part of the recovery process. But always, of course, consult a medical professional before making changes. So if you have an injury which prevents you to play piano much, don't give up, please. Don't idle in frustration. Use this time to catch up on different skills. Maybe it's time to improve a foreign language skill, or make more ear training, or improve your social skills. There are so many different things which we musicians must develop, but because we pianists practice so much, they stay underdeveloped. So use this forced break to catch up on other things in your life. Don't let frustration to overcome you, please. And I really believe in your progress, and if you follow these tips, you'll protect your hands, recover faster, and most importantly, very soon you'll be able to focus on what really matters: making music. Thank you for watching this, and see you next time.